You can also very easily create stars and polygons in Inkscape. So the tool you want for this is this little star and polygon icon. And first of all, you have two options, polygon and star. So if we start with polygon, you can set the number of corners at the beginning, or you can actually change that after you've drawn the item. I'm also just going to first zero out these values. They'll be 0 by default, so that's a good place to start. And then you just drag, and as you can see, you get a polygon. And because we had this set to 6 corners, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. I could increase this. And if we keep going, it's almost going to look like a circle. And then 4 is just going to be a square or even a perfect triangle. 3 is as low as you can go. So here we have, for example, an octagon. And you can set a few other options. First of all, you can round the corners. So what this is doing is making it more like a circle. If you put this up to its maximum, it's actually going to go past the outer edge, and then you start getting some kind of cool effects like this. So if that's something you can find a use for, then that's something that you can do. And you can also do it in the negative way. So if you keep going down to negative, you can get a really cool kind of spacey type shape like this. I'm going to go back to 0 just to keep demonstrating. You can also randomize the edges. So that's just going to randomly change the edges, the length of the edges. So each edge will just randomly have a different length. And the higher this value is, the more of a difference you can get from one to the other. So there you see we've got quite a high value. If we take this down to something like 0.5, you just get a kind of weird shape. And we can go down further. And that's really just going to make a very weird shape. This is actually a better option with the star. I'm going to zero this out. And I'm just going to get rid of this by selecting it and hitting backspace. And if we go back to this tool, you can now choose star. And star works in a quite similar way, but instead of getting these corners joined this way, you get a star. In the same way, you can change the number of corners. So here we've got only 5. You can also change the spoke ratio, and that basically is how far away from the endpoint is the endpoint going to be. So the lower this is, you get very thin, spiky type star points. And if you make this really high, then you start getting a kind of more conventional star shape. And once again, you can randomize the size of the edges. But again, any sort of highish values aren't really going to help, so you can try something like maybe 0.3. But even that is going to be a little bit insane. So randomize, probably not such a great option. And if you want to, you can also, again, you can round these corners. And that can actually give you some really nice effects, especially if you have quite a low spoke ratio. You can create something like this. Or just a kind of conventional star shape which looks like that. And you can of course remember just apply your normal stroke and fill. So we could say set fill, and then we get a fill. And then if we decrease the spoke ratio some more, you're going to get a kind of weird shape like that. So very simple, but a lot of options that you can use. And if you're willing to just play with this for a little while, you can actually find some very cool effects.